January 28, 1938, 11:47 in the morning. A 28-year-old German driver named Bernd Rosemeyer kisses his wife goodbye, climbs into a silver streamlined missile called the Auto Union Type C, and pushes the accelerator down on a public highway between Frankfurt and Darmstadt. 2 hours earlier, his rival Rudolf Caracciola had crossed the same stretch of road at 269 miles per hour, setting a world record that would stand for 79 years. Rosemeyer wants to beat it. He hits 267 miles per hour. Then a single gust of wind catches the underside of his car. The vehicle lifts off the ground, somersaults through the air, and slams into a bridge embankment. His body is found ejected, lying in the dirt beside the road. He is dead before the medics arrive. And here is the truth that will haunt you for the rest of this video. That highway, the same one that killed him, still has no speed limit today. Cars still legally fly down it at over 180 miles per hour. And statistically, it is safer than almost every interstate in the United States. Why? Because hidden beneath the asphalt is an engineering doctrine so extreme, so paranoid, so obsessive, that the American government literally refused to copy it. Join us, and let's discover the dark engineering secret of the most dangerous and safest highway on Earth. Let's go.
Number 13. Avis, Berlin, 1921. Throw away everything you think you know about the Autobahn. Adolf Hitler did not invent it. The myth is one of the most successful propaganda lies of the 20th century. The first true German motorway opened in Berlin on September 24, 1921, more than a decade before the Nazis seized power. It was called the AVIS, short for Automobil Verkehrs- und Übungsstraße, which translates to Automobile Traffic and Practice Street. It stretched 12 miles through the Grunewald forest, with 2 perfectly straight lanes and banked curves at each end. To picture it, imagine if your local highway was secretly a giant racetrack, with cars allowed to fly at full speed between 2 cities, while normal traffic mixed with race cars. That is exactly what the AVIS was. Then came 1932, the Cologne to Bonn highway, opened by Mayor Konrad Adenauer, a man Hitler later jailed and stripped of office. When the Nazis stole power, they didn't invent anything. They confiscated the existing blueprints, slapped swastikas on the construction sites, and broadcast the workers as Hitler's soldiers of asphalt. The world believed the lie for almost a century. The truth is darker. The freedom you feel on the Autobahn today was born in a democratic Germany, not a fascist one. And the next item proves the Nazis nearly destroyed everything that made it great.
You are flying down the Autobahn at 150 miles per hour. The sun is setting. Suddenly, a 600-pound wild boar charges into your lane from the forest. At that speed, hitting an animal that size is the equivalent of a direct head-on collision with a small car. Your engine block becomes shrapnel. You are statistically dead. Germany understood this horror, so they built something that looks like fantasy. Massive arched bridges, completely covered in soil, trees, grass, and wild bushes, draped over the highway like floating forests. From above, satellite photos show what looks like a strip of nature gently crossing a strip of road. From inside the car, you see only a tunnel of greenery flying past your windows. These structures are called Grünbrücken, and Germany has built dozens of them, with hundreds more planned by the federal government. Deer, wolves, lynxes, badgers, foxes, and wild boars walk across them daily, never knowing a highway exists 50 feet beneath their hooves. Each Grünbrücken costs millions of euros. But here is the chilling truth. They are not built to save the animals. They are built to save you.
Every animal that crosses safely is one less corpse on the road, one less driver swerving at lethal speeds, one less family being scraped off the asphalt at dawn. Germany engineered the forest itself to serve the cult of velocity.
Only 1% of people know the dark truth behind what we are about to show you next. If you want to be part of the few who actually know what's happening in the world, subscribe and leave a like right now. Done? Look at this.
Number 11. Autobahn A5 Frankfurt-Darmstadt. This is not just any highway. This is the bloody altar of speed itself. The stretch of Autobahn A5 between Frankfurt and Darmstadt is the same road where Rudolf Caracciola hit 432.7 kilometers per hour in 1938. The same road where Bernd Rosemeyer died hours later, and the same road that became the longest perfectly straight section of motorway in all of Germany. To picture it, imagine a runway built so flat and so precise that fighter jets could literally take off from it. Then realize that millions of normal commuters drive on it every single year, often without any speed limit at all. The A5 has hosted speed records since the 1930s and continues to be one of the favorite stretches of European supercar drivers who fly in from across the continent just to push their machines past 200 miles per hour. Buried within its design are decades of refinements. Reinforced concrete slabs thick enough to support tanks, drainage systems that swallow torrential rain in seconds, and overhead gantries that can cap speed in real time when fog rolls in. There is even a memorial called the Bernd Rosemeyer Parkplatz built on the exact spot where his body landed. Drivers who pass by at 150 miles per hour have no idea they are flying over a man's grave. The next item explains why those drivers are still alive.
Number 10. Thermoplastic glass bead markings. You think the white lines on the road are just paint. You are dangerously wrong. On the Autobahn, those lines are a chemical weapon engineered against death itself. Germany refuses to use ordinary paint, which fades within months and vanishes in heavy rain. They use thermoplastic compounds heated to a blistering 200 degrees Celsius before application. That is hotter than the inside of a pizza oven. The molten material is sprayed onto the asphalt and literally fuses with the road on a molecular level, becoming part of it. To picture it, imagine pouring a bucket of melted plastic onto a hot stove and watching it freeze permanently into the metal. That is what every white line is. But the real terror is what they drop on top while the plastic is still burning. Millions of microscopic glass beads, smaller than grains of sand, invisible in daylight. But at night, when your headlights hit them at 150 miles per hour, those beads act like a billion tiny mirrors, throwing the light back into your eyes. The road literally illuminates itself, glowing like an airport runway. The reason is brutal physics. At extreme speeds, your brain has only half a second to read each line. If the road is too dim, you drift, you die. Germany does not paint roads, they forge them with fire and crushed glass.
Number 9. Bundesanstalt für Straßenwesen. Somewhere in the small German city of Bergisch Gladbach, hidden inside a complex of laboratories, there is a building most drivers have never heard of. It is called the Bundesanstalt für Straßenwesen, the Federal Highway Research Institute, known by the initials BAST. Inside this place, an army of scientists, engineers, and chemists are running terrifying experiments on the Autobahn every single day. They simulate truck crashes at 100 miles per hour using full-scale prototypes, smashing real vehicles into real barriers and filming the destruction in slow motion. They embed microscopic sensors directly into asphalt samples, then bake them in ovens that mimic 50 years of summer heat in a few weeks. They drop crash test dummies wearing motorcycle gear onto road surfaces at high velocity to measure exactly how human skin shreds at impact. To picture it, imagine a giant laboratory where every nightmare scenario of a 200-mile-per-hour crash is being created on purpose just to learn how to prevent it. The data BAST collects feeds directly into every meter of new Autobahn ever built. They literally know how many milliseconds you have to react to a deer in your lane at 130 miles per hour. They know how a Mercedes tire degrades at sustained high speed in summer heat. They know your death better than you do, and they design the road to keep you alive in spite of yourself.
In the United States, drivers cruise lazily in the left lane at the speed limit, blocking entire highways without consequence. On the Autobahn, doing that can land you in prison. Germany enforces a sacred law called the Rechtsfahrgebot, which translates literally as the right driving commandment. The left lane exists for one purpose only: passing. If you stay there even 1 second longer than necessary, you can be fined hundreds of euros, lose your driver's license, and in cases involving fatal accidents caused by lane blocking, face actual criminal charges for manslaughter. But there is something darker, an unwritten cultural ritual called Drängeln, the act of aggressive tailgating someone refusing to move right. To picture it, imagine a hawk diving towards you from a quarter-mile back, closing the distance at 80 miles per hour faster than you are going, demanding you vanish from his path. That is what it feels like when a Porsche locks onto your bumper at 180 miles per hour with headlights flashing like an emergency strobe. The lane discipline is so brutal because the physics is brutal. If every driver obeys, traffic flows like a perfect river. If one driver disobeys, that river instantly becomes a graveyard. Germany treats lane choice as a matter of life and death, because it actually is.
Number 7. Richtgeschwindigkeit, 130. This is the dirty secret no German tour guide ever tells you. The Autobahn has no speed limit, but it hides something far more sinister. It is called the Richtgeschwindigkeit, the advisory speed of 130 kilometers per hour, roughly 81 miles per hour. Legally, you can drive faster. There is no ticket, no fine, no police chase. But the moment you crash above that number, the entire German legal system turns against you with surgical cruelty. Federal courts have ruled repeatedly that if you exceed the advisory speed and are involved in any accident, even one that was not technically your fault, you can be held partially liable. Your insurance company can refuse to pay. The other driver can sue you into financial ruin. Your license can be suspended for years. To picture it, imagine a casino that lets you bet your entire fortune, but secretly slips a clause into the contract that says if you win too big, the house keeps everything anyway. That is the Richtgeschwindigkeit. It is psychological warfare disguised as freedom. Germany hands you the throttle with one hand and the legal guillotine with the other. This is why most German drivers, even in Porsches and AMG Mercedes, voluntarily stay close to 130. The illusion of unlimited speed hides a legal trap waiting patiently for the reckless.
Number 6. Autobahn GmbH, Night Cruise. While you sleep, an invisible army is rebuilding the German highway system beneath the moonlight. The state-owned company, called Autobahn GmbH, founded in 2018 to centralize all national highway operations, deploys thousands of workers between midnight and 5 in the morning every single night. Specialized milling machines grind away cracked asphalt. Concrete pumps refill expansion joints. Painters refresh thermoplastic lines. Drainage crews scrub channels free of debris. Sensor technicians replace burned-out monitoring chips. To picture it, imagine if every night a team of ghosts crept into your house, repaired a cracked tile, repainted a wall, polished your floors, replaced your light bulbs, and disappeared before you woke up. That is what the Autobahn experiences every 24 hours. By sunrise, the cones are gone, the trucks are gone, the lights are gone, and the road is perfect again. The scale is monstrous. Germany spends billions of euros every year just maintaining this network. Compare that to the United States, where highways often crumble for years before any crew even shows up. The Autobahn is not just built once and forgotten. It is being rebuilt piece by piece every night forever. The road itself is essentially immortal.
The reason is chilling. At Autobahn speeds, even one ignored crack can become a coffin.
Number 5. Streckenbeeinflussungsanlagen. Look up the next time you drive on a German highway. Those overhead signs glowing with numbers, arrows, and warnings are not decoration. They are a digital god watching every vehicle below. Germany operates a network of intelligent gantries called Streckenbeeinflussungsanlagen, dynamic traffic control systems that change the speed limit, lane assignment, and hazard warnings in real time. If a fog bank rolls in 20 miles ahead, the signs above you instantly cap your speed before you ever see the mist. If a truck overturns, the gantries redirect entire lanes within seconds before any police arrive. If black ice forms on a bridge 10 kilometers ahead, the warning appears on your horizon before you can blink. To picture it, imagine a chess grandmaster sitting in a hidden room, allowed to move your car's legal speed at will, but every move he makes is calculated to keep you alive. That is what these gantries do. They convert the Autobahn from a chaotic free-for-all into a fluid, breathing, intelligent organism. On unrestricted sections, the signs go dark and you fly without limit. On dangerous sections, they impose temporary caps that vanish the instant the danger passes. Most countries still use rusted metal signs from the 1960s. Germany uses an artificial nervous system that controls the road like a surgeon controls a scalpel.
Number 4. Notlandeplatz NATO Autobahn. Here is something the average driver never notices. Certain stretches of Autobahn have no overpasses, no center barriers, no lampposts, and are eerily unnaturally straight for miles. This is not coincidence. It is a doomsday plan from the Cold War. During the 1960s and 70s, NATO and the West German government secretly designated specific sections of Autobahn as Notlandeplätze, emergency runways for military aircraft in case of Soviet invasion. The asphalt was reinforced with extra-thick concrete to support landing fighter jets. The lanes were widened to accommodate wingspans. The medians were designed to be removable in hours. To picture it, imagine driving down what looks like an ordinary highway, not knowing that beneath your tires lies a slab of concrete strong enough to land an F-4 Phantom armed with nuclear missiles. That is what some of these roads are. The most famous of these emergency strips were located in Bavaria and along the inner German border, ready to launch interceptor jets within minutes if Soviet tanks ever crossed into the West. Several of them still exist today, hiding in plain sight, repaved as ordinary highway. The Autobahn is not just a road, it is a weapon disguised as transportation, sleeping silently, waiting for a war that history almost forced upon it.
This is the moment that changed everything. In 1945, near the end of World War II, an American general named Dwight D. Eisenhower drove across occupied Germany. He saw the Autobahn for the first time and was stunned. He understood that this highway system was the future of war, commerce, and human movement. When he became President of the United States in 1953, he signed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, launching the Interstate Highway System, the largest public works project in American history. But here is what the textbooks refuse to teach. Eisenhower's engineers deliberately watered down the German blueprint. They cut the foundation depth nearly in half. They reduced lane width. They lowered material standards. They capped speed limits at 65 miles per hour to avoid paying for the safety infrastructure Germany was already building. They refused to import the brutal nightly maintenance culture that kept the Autobahn alive. Why? Because Germany's standards were considered economically insane for a country 4 times its size. American politicians demanded highways built fast and cheap, spreading across an entire continent. The result is what you see today: crumbling bridges, exploding potholes, fatality rates per mile that statistically exceed Germany even at lower speeds. America had the blueprint. America had the man who saw the original. And America still chose to build a cheaper, weaker copy.
This is the day the Autobahn drank its first famous blood. January 28, 1938. The German government closed a section of the brand new A5 highway between Frankfurt and Darmstadt for a public speed record duel between Mercedes-Benz and Auto Union. Rudolf Caracciola went first in his streamlined Mercedes W125 record wagon and hit 432.7 kilometers per hour, roughly 269 miles per hour, setting a record that would stand untouched for 79 years. He stepped out of the car, smiled, and warned his rival Bernd Rosemeyer that crosswinds were picking up dangerously along the route. Rosemeyer ignored him. The 28-year-old climbed into his Auto Union Type C streamliner, powered by a 16-cylinder engine, refusing to lose to Mercedes. At 11:47 in the morning, on his third high-speed run, his car was hit by a single gust of wind near an open clearing in the forest. To picture it, imagine driving a guided missile at 267 miles per hour, and a feather pushes it sideways. The vehicle lifted off the asphalt, somersaulted through the air, smashed into a bridge embankment, and ejected his body into the dirt. He was dead at the roadside before help arrived. His wife Ellie Beinhorn, one of Germany's most famous aviators, was waiting for him at home. A small stone memorial still stands today at the exact spot, hidden in a forgotten rest area called the Bernd Rosemeyer Park Plot. Millions of cars fly over his grave every year. Most drivers have no idea.
Here is the climax. The fact that will rewrite everything you believe about speed and death. Despite having no speed limit on roughly 70% of its total length, despite drivers regularly pushing past 180 miles per hour every single day, despite cars accelerating to velocities that would be banned in every other country on Earth, the Autobahn has a fatality rate per kilometer dramatically lower than almost every American interstate highway. Read that again. The road where Porsches fly at airplane speeds is statistically safer than the road where you cruise to work at 65 miles per hour. The numbers do not lie. The German Autobahn records roughly 1.6 deaths per billion vehicle kilometers. The United States interstate system records significantly higher rates despite enforcing strict speed limits, hiring more police, and writing more tickets. How is this even possible? Because everything you just learned in this video, the buried sensors, the molten glass bead lines, the wildlife bridges, the nightly maintenance armies, the digital sign gantries, the Rechtsfahrgebot lane law, the Richtgeschwindigkeit legal trap, the BOST crash labs, the NATO runway reinforcements, all of it works together as a single unified weapon against death. Germany proved something the rest of the world refuses to accept. Speed itself does not kill people. Bad roads, untrained drivers, and lazy engineering kill people. Remove those three enemies, and a human being can legally fly at 180 miles per hour and walk away alive. The Autobahn is not freedom. It is the most disciplined, paranoid, and perfectly engineered machine humanity has ever built to make speed survivable. And that is the secret America saw with its own eyes, held in its own hands, and deliberately refused to copy.
If you thought this was terrifying, you are not ready for what they found in the video on your screen. Click it right now. The truth is worse than you think.